Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the July edition of the Real Estate Investment Workshop. It's our pleasure to come your way with this workshop series as usual. And we've been doing this workshop series since the back end of since last year. Every month we bring in thought leaders within the real estate sector or industry to give us more tidbits and information about the real estate industry as we know it. To share tips and ideas on their thoughts about how the sector is an industry verticals, as well as any other information that we need to know. So it's a pleasure to come here with this edition, the virtual edition. We've probably had this in person since it started, but we've been doing a virtual session. We'll be doing a virtual session for this month. So you can stay with us as we welcome the panelists for today. For today's workshop, we have two speakers that will be coming on. I'll introduce them shortly. But this investment workshop series is brought to us by the Intim Group, the Ghana Tech Hub, as well as Ghana Tech Summit. So we are thankful to all these partners and sponsors for bringing us this investment workshop series. And as we go along, we'll find out more about them as well. So to moderate today's panel, we have Niama Ralph, who's a member of the team, and he would take us through the panel. He also introduced the panelists that are on for today. And this Ghana Real Estate Program offerings includes webinars, workshops, tours, virtual summits, live expos, retreats, and accelerator programs as well. We have webinar series for it, and this is joining that aspect of it as well. And then this has been the longest running real estate workshop over the past 18 plus months. So look forward to continuing in that stead as well. We're thankful to all our speakers who have joined in the workshop series over the months, and we're grateful for their thought leadership and time joining us for this series as well. And we culminate this with the Real Estate in Future Summit. We look forward to that as well over the period. I hope you can all hear me. Okay then. So since there's no audio, I would now introduce Ralph onto the stage to kick off the panel discussion.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Stanley. Okay, thank you very much, and I'm glad to be here. My name is Nee, and today I'll be taking you through the July edition of the Real Estate. And as Daniel mentioned, we have two speakers for the day. And a moment. So we'll have Stanley joining us, and then Bernard also joining us.
Hello.
Hi, Stanley.
Hi, Nee. How you doing?
I'm fine. Yourself?
I'm good.
Great to have you. And also, Bernard. Okay.
Hi
Can
everyone.
hi,
Hi Stanley and hi Lee. How's it
Hi,
going?
Bernard.
everyone.
Yeah, much
Okay.
apologies. I really look forward to this, but due to some unforeseen circumstances, I can't turn my video on. But I do hope my audio is perfectly clear, and also forgive the background noise as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's perfect.
It's
I can
fine.
hear you loud and clear.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So we'll just dive in straight away. And I just want to know how everyone is doing. So I want to be sure if we are all okay. So
Here we are.
Stanley, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm good.
Just tell us
I'm
a bit
good.
about
Yes.
yourself to kickstart.
Oh, okay. I'm good. My name is Stanley. Stanley Hedrika. I am an architect. I studied architecture for about 5 years in Central University, and then graduated a couple of years ago. But now I specialize mainly in architectural visualization and development of marketing assets for real estate developers and interior designers and architects as well. So that is a little you can know about Stanley.
Okay. All right. Bernard, what about you?
Hi, thanks man. Hi Stanley, we should connect. So I guess Stanley is an Igbo
Sure.
man like myself, eh?
Yes, somehow.
Okay. So I'm Benaya Rollins, and I work with Z Homes. I've been doing this for the past 5 years, being a real estate consultant and a property manager. We generally manage properties. I mean, we have over 1,000 properties and counting in our inventory from Nigeria to Ghana and then East Africa. So yeah, I mean, it's been a hell of a journey, but we still have a lot to go.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Yeah.
So Stanley, you mentioned you have a 5 years background in architectural design. Can you tell us more about it, like your background in architecture and how you decided to specialize in architectural visualization now?
Oh, okay. Well, for that, the background in architecture is more or less on the design side. So we've been taught and trained to like solve problems from the design perspective. So usually there's this thing that they say that every architect knows how to solve every single problem that is in the world. That's once they are well trained. And so that is that part. But right before I completed school, I developed a passion for 3D, which is visualization, which is not really taught back in school. And so from there on, I started training myself. I did a couple of courses. I had a couple of people also teach me in person. And then I decided, okay, this is what I'm going to do full time. And I'm not going to do design the traditional way we do it, which is like you just present drawings to the clients and that's the end of the day. But instead, I'll go a step further and do the 3Ds. But right before I finished school as well, I then saw that it was actually a profession that people did. And I was like, okay, this is looking profitable. Then let me tell my people and tell them that this is what I'm eventually going to start doing. And then they started asking me, was this taught in school? And I was like, no, this was not taught in school, but I'd have to learn it and get ahead like that. So after a couple of years, here I am after like 5 years, 5 years ditching what I learned in school and deciding to go this path. This is um, this is where I am currently. So yeah,
I see. That's nice. And congratulations. Congratulations, because not
thank you.
everyone is able to learn something and still keep going. But you have, and then
Yeah,
today are still in business with it. All right.
thank you.
Bernard, what about you? Can you also can you also share more about your journey into the real estate industry and what inspired you to start um your business?
Okay. So I generally started by wanting to help a friend, just like Stanley as well. And everybody had a dream to become someone, for me was being a medical doctor, right? And so, I mean, that couldn't push through. So I was trying to figure out what various jobs I could, get my hands on. I mean, I've tried different things. Then a couple wanted to move from Nigeria to Ghana and wanted to have a trusted person work with them. So during that process, we went through various agents. What the usual hassle you go through if you want to find a property in Ghana. You have to go through an agent, maybe go through a site like Gigi or Mikasa, figure out what property you want. So we did all of that, and eventually we had a very, very bad experiences with all of those agents, almost five of them. Then at the end of the day, I figured that there was an opportunity that I can bring to the real estate space if I could just help people buy or rent or consult for these individuals who might be willing to buy a home or invest in some way into real estate. I can just be that person. I can be that trusted person that anyone can just call and perform a very solid and clean transaction. So that was what sparked my interest into the Ghana real estate market. And with delved in. I mean, we've been doing this for the past almost 5 years now. But every single day looks as if we have not completely achieved what we hope to achieve.
Let's see. Yeah, that's another interesting story to share. Okay, all right. So we go back to Stanley. How
Yeah.
does your architectural visualization, including the exterior and interior design, benefit the real estate developers and its agents?
Well, we are in a very digital space right now, which is like the whole world is digital. Everything is digital. And so when you are presenting a property to a client and you show them your architectural drawing from the architect, one of the very first things they would even ask you is, oh, can I see what it looks like? Can I see an image? I can see the drawings that you sent me or you showed me, but I want to see the image because that's what I would understand. Then some people, if you go further and do like a video for them, even better, then they can understand it. So currently, what the visualization industry does for real estate developers is it gives them that opportunity to sell the idea to their end clients, to sell that design that they want or that property. Because if you come to me and you tell me you have a 3-bedroom house, I really do not care about the drawings that the architects did. What they want to see is the 3D. Oh, let me see a 3D. From the 3D, the person can either decide to buy or not to buy. Because at the end of the day, we are all buying into perspectives. We are all buying into images. You choose to buy this particular product over this product because the image was nice. But sometimes you see that thing where people do, oh, what you ordered versus what you got. If you don't see something nice, you won't order it. But sometimes if
That's
what you
true.
ordered and then what you got is not matching, then now you are not happy. So that's also something that the visualization industry also takes away. That what you ordered versus what you got situation is not going to happen if like developers present 3D visualization to their clients.
I see. It's true. I know something. We all almost everything that we have today. We went for it because we saw a video of it or we came across an image of it. But just the
Yes.
sketch alone, we are not too comfortable going in for it. But if you see a video how the actual thing would look like, then we are okay. This is what I'm going in for. Um, Thank
Yes.
you for sharing that. Bernard, can you also give us an overview of the current real estate market in Ghana and what are the key trends and opportunities in the Ghanaian real estate sector that aspiring the young ones who are looking forward to join the real estate, how they should like what they should be aware of?
It's actually funny that Stanley mentioned what you ordered versus what you get. That really put me off. Um,
Yeah.
because, for example, we have situations, during my consulting career, we have situations where you actually request or you see what we call 3D rendition of various properties, right? And then you get so very interested in purchasing this home. So you see a studio apartment or a one-bed apartment, you get so very excited that you have some piece of real estate coming up in the next 3 to 4 years. So while waiting patiently, waiting patiently for that product, and then when the time is out, you realize, bro, what I ordered is not what I'm
It's
getting.
not what I got.
So we have, so this, me, you asked about the trend. So these are currently the trends we're facing. So the current situation of the market now, it's a little bit an oversupply in the high end real estate development. So what that built for the higher end or the high profile individuals, people who can afford to pay in large sums of dollars. So these are the ones who, you see the apartment complex coming out. So it is estimated that by 2025, over 6,000 to 7,000 units of these high-end apartments would hit the market by 2025. Now, it's changed from the high end to the lower income or the middle income folks. They can maybe have a way of solving their housing deficit. So now all attention is focused in profitability. Developers are spending money in land or in locations that you can hear me, right?
No, we lost you
Yeah,
for
I
a
cannot
bit.
hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm saying that developers are spending money in locations that they see to be more profitable. So, for example, you cannot easily convince a high-end luxury developer to maybe build a home in places like Kaswa or Nima or
Mhm.
it's funny you're laughing. Yeah, you can't. So they can't really build homes in those places. But where do you find them building all of these houses and apartments? It's in airports, in cantonments, in Laboni,
Yeah.
in Osu. And another trend you're going to find is there are more units, which is there are more apartment complexes than houses. So because that's one of the fastest ways to scale up in real estate. Yeah. For example, you can't build a single family home, like two-bedroom house or three-bedroom house, in a space that could easily take about maybe 150 to 200 apartments. You get the idea. So,
Mhm.
the developers are spending more of their money and more of their focus building homes in places, in vantage locations, in prime locations that they know will sell for $12 and cost an arm and a leg, and at the same time give investors what they want. I, I hope
Mhm.
uh, I hope you got me. And
Yeah.
sorry, and what we can how this can help us as real estate agents is by understanding this data. So, for example, me giving you all of this data now, it each time I get into an investor conversation, like these are the data I present. Knowing them from the top of my head has helped me to convince some of my investors and buyers to buy home. So when you sit in front of investors, everybody just wants to know how can I make money or how can I maximize my real estate investment. That's
Mhm.
you're talking numbers. You're not just talking, some design somewhere or some property somewhere. You're talking about numbers. I'm going to invest $100,000. Then how long will I get my capital back? What's the ROI per year? What's the rental income per year? What's the net income? What's the gross income? What are the management fees like? If you have all of this understanding, it's easier to get into conversation and actually close the deal, more deals with these investors. And Stanley spoke about renditions as well and 3D formats. So with the help of 3D formats, agents like myself can help investors or anybody interested in buying real estate to better understand what the properties would look like. So let me give you a typical example. If I want to convince a buyer to buy a piece of real estate or a piece of a property, with the 3D model, I can be able to navigate them through every single step of what the rooms will look like, what the scent at the end of at the completed stage of the development. So yeah, and also we're
And,
trying to
and
utilize
I think
smart tools.
I'm
Can you
losing
hear me?
part of your speech.
You can only hear bits and pieces.
Yeah, we lost you
Yes.
for like a few seconds.
A few seconds. Okay, okay. So I'm generally, is it okay now?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
okay
it's
now.
okay now.
Yeah, so I'm generally saying that we're learning to use smart tools such as 3D renditions, like what Samuel is describing here, visualizations, to better help our investors and home buyers navigate through the home buying process or the real estate investment process. Yeah, generally those are the trends and a bit of what the market looks like.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Bernard. Um, Stanley, I know you've spoken a bit about how the 3D model of architectural design visualization is making an impact in the real estate industry, where you mentioned
Yeah.
what you buy, what um what
What
you
you order
ordered
versus what you
versus
got.
what you got. Yeah. I still want to find out, is there any other why um I- what are some of the visualization architectural visualization crucial for successful marketing and selling of real estate properties? I don't know if you have
Okay, so
any
like
other information,
why
because
it is crucial?
yes,
Why it is
and you
crucial?
I know you've mentioned,
Okay,
you made a strong point. You made a strong point using the what you see versus what you ordered
what you
versus what
get.
you get, which is in
Yeah.
line with it. I don't know if you have any other to adapt to it.
Well, it's not only that. It's there is also the branding aspect of it. I do branding because there are certain developers that once you see a project from them and you see the kind of images that they have or the kind of marketing assets that they are using, I could name one example right now, which is like DevTraco Plus. If you had the money and you see an ad from DevTraco Plus, definitely you just pull out your credit card, take my money, take it, just go. So you see, it adds up to the brand of that particular company. And they themselves will never go look for a visualization that doesn't speak well of them.
Okay.
So that visualization aspect also adds up to the brand of that particular company. No matter how little it may look like, oh, it's just 3D, let's just do anything and just serve it. Once the client understands, already the client is seeing so many high quality renders. They when they go online, it's there, it's plenty. All they just have to do is do a Google search, oh, 3D visualization or 2-bedroom apartment. It's already flowing, it's in abundance. So they have all these images that are pumping up on them. And so they already know that there can be better somewhere. Now, as a real estate developer, you don't want to look like that person who is not in line with the future or who is not in line with quality. So you would always want to make sure that that visualization that you are adding to the marketing assets that you are doing speaks well of your brand. So that is the part visualization also plays for why it is very crucial for real estate developers. The other aspects, not just about the what you order versus what you got situation, but also about situations of spending money. You do not want to spend so much investor money, build, and it doesn't work. The people you are selling to, it doesn't work for them. No, that would not be a very good period for you because the investors will be on your neck and the homeowners will also be on your neck. Everybody will be on your neck. Now, the visualization takes you out of that space of being in a very uncomfortable position, because then you know what you are building before you even start building. Before you even hit the ground, you know exactly what is going on. Even the people who work with you will know what is going on or what is supposed to be here. So then it cuts down the expenses people make because of unforeseen design changes, because during the visualization you can definitely make changes and see what they look like, right? And so all that cost is cut down. The branding, it adds to it. What you ordered versus what you got situation, that one is taken out. So then it generally just, it cuts down on so many things, including time factor. It cuts down on so many factors. So generally, visualization goes a very long way for most real estate developers that I am in touch with right now.
Let's see. A follow-up question to that. Don't you think that we take out the regular our regular architectural designers out of the system? Because if you are doing the 3D, I obviously come to you because at the end of the day, a 3D enables me to see the actual building, which is I feel is equal to what the sketches that have been done by the architectural designer. So why would I go to him and when he's just going to give me a sketch? When you have both skill, you give me a 3D view of it, and I'll see the actual thing and know that, oh, this is actually going to work. Unlike the regular one that I won't be able to know if it will work or not until the building is actually built. So don't you think that there'll be a time where they'll be out of the system?
So this is where the mix-up is in the market. There is the design parts, and then there's the visualization parts. Now, many people see the visualization part and think that there was no design to it, but that's where you're wrong. So the architect or the interior designer who has the name designer added to their name, architectural designer, there's a reason that name is added. That person solves the problems based on your needs, but they do it in forms of sketches and drawings. Now, the visualizers work behind the designers to bring that image or that idea that they had to life. So we are more of the flowers, but the root is actually the design or the architect. So there will never be a situation where these architectural designers or architects or interior designers will be obsolete. It can never happen. Unless, but what we have in the market right now is like people who are visualizers posing as designers. And so there's that, and when you see them, you will know them. You will see it. Now, the other sweet spots of being an architect and also being a visualizer is if you have a visualization agency made up of architects, the drawings that you send to them, even them, the visualizers can review it, because already at the backbone, they are architects. And so if they are visualizing something that doesn't make sense, they can easily prompt. So at the end of the day, that background also helps to check. But there will never be a situation where like, oh, we don't need architects anymore. Let's just go with visual. It cannot happen unless you want to build fantasies. If you want to build fantasies, then that's fine. I mean,
Sure. I think I like how you presented it, making us know that the visualization is more of like the flowers that we see. We just see the beauty out of it. However, there has been some
exactly,
skeleton, there has been some actual work that has been done in the background,
exactly.
and it's important for us to also know about that.
Yeah.
I think I'm enjoying it. Thank you very much. Um, um, Bernard, I want to find out what are the what's the most what's the most skills and attributes for a successful real estate agent. What are some of the skills that a successful real estate agent should possess in order to be successful in the real estate industry?
So first is what we call a consulting skill. Now that's why I like to introduce myself as a consultant because
I don't know if it's from my side. I can't hear you clearly.
is it better now?
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it's better now.
Okay. So I'm saying that it's so I like to call myself a consultant because
We've lost you again. Bernard, if you can hear us, we can't hear you. Okay. Um, Stanley, let's come back to you while he figures out. Can you hear me, Stanley? Stanley,
Yes,
sorry.
yes, I can.
Yeah. Okay. So you've been mentioning you've been mentioning of the developers and then the agents. How do you collaborate with the real estate developers and agents to create an accurate and compelling visualization for their project?
Well, for the agents, right? I haven't worked with any agents, or we haven't worked with any agents before, but we've worked with a couple of developers. So usually, what we do with the developers is when they have their design and they have their drawing from the architect, we take up the drawing and then have an agreement with them, know the kind of things that they want, if they want images for marketing or they want videos for marketing, or if they want virtual reality apps, then we can create all of that for them. And then once we take up that project and we understand exactly what they are looking out for, we would also ask a couple of questions to know, okay, this is the kind of target market that you are going for. I remember once a developer told me to create the images in the most realistic way possible. The reason they said that is because some of the visualizations that people do are fantasies. They don't take into consideration what is available to the developer. And so they do beautiful images, and then the developers are not able to achieve them in real life. And then you know what that brings, what you ordered versus what you
Yeah.
got. So so that situation, we don't want to do it. So we usually have conversations with the developer to know, okay, this is the kind of thing you want to do. This is the look or the general look and feel. Are you going for extremely luxury apartments or home, or you are going for middle class income home? So then we also know what we are doing. If we get that information, then we create some test renders before we move on to do final renders and submit the files to the developers. So generally, that's how we collaborate. It's just one call away, and then you get to talk to me, and then we pick it up from there, and we can easily work. Bena is back.
Okay. Thank you
Hi,
very much.
Bena.
hi, sorry,
Yeah,
it looks
we'll come
like the
back to you.
internet just kicked me out.
Yeah.
Sure, sure. Okay, Stanley will come back to you since Benel is back. We'll go back to Benel. So Benel, I was asking,
Yeah,
what
the
are
best
some of the
skills.
most important skills you think? Yeah, what are some of the
Yeah,
most important skills that you think a
yeah,
successful real estate
yeah,
agent should possess?
yeah. So the first is what we'll call negotiation skill. What sets one agent
Okay.
apart from the other person is your ability to close the deal or how good you are with negotiations. You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
hear
we
you
can.
loud and clear.
Very good. So it's your ability to eventually start a conversation and eventually lead it to a closing. That's what separates people, and that's why it looks as if there are top performing agents and there are other agents that are not performing at their best because
Mhm.
some agents have mastered the art of negotiation. So I think if anyone wants to be a successful agent, especially in 2024, that person has to be extremely very good at negotiation. Another one is what we call people skills or empathy. It's your ability to understand the plight of every client you deal. Now, if you're somebody who wants to deal with, you know, buyers, there are buyers that are emotional buyers, there are buyers that are, speculative buyers. Some
Mhm.
have, different culture, different character, different disposition. And if you always allow those dispositions to affect how you perform or how you perform your real estate or what we call a fiduciary duty to them, you're going to lose out. So a real estate or a proper real estate agent is somebody who is able to control and balance out all of these dispositions and eventually deliver the best. The third thing I'm going to talk about, which is the most important, is a real estate agent in 2024, especially in 2024, has to be a relationship builder. There are people in the real estate space who do nothing but just build relationships, and that's how they make the deals happen. Because all of the conversations, all of the transactions that happen in the real estate space begins from one relationship to another, which is to say, if you want to be good at closing, if you want to sell more properties, if you want to rent more properties, if you want to help as many people as you can, the best answer to that is develop a relationship with as many people as you can. Do you understand?
Okay. Did we
Did you
lost?
get that?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, we got that. So you mentioned
Yeah,
negotiation and then also developing relationship with
yes,
individuals. Um, talk
exactly.
of talk of negotiation. I don't know, but from personal experience, negotiation is a bit challenging. Do you have any tips on how to go about it?
Me?
Sir, could you say that again?
Oh, can you hear me loud and clear?
I can hear you,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, I'm asking. You mentioned negotiation. So I'm asking, do you have
Yeah,
any tips on how to go about when it comes to negotiating with client when in the real estate industry?
absolutely. So people go into negotiation and think it's like what you. I don't know if you've seen this movie called Suits. No, where when Harvey gets into the courtroom and he just like brings everybody down, wins the case, and steps out like the boss man. It's not actually the case, with negotiation. So usually, negotiation is about understanding um, everybody in the table. I recently did a course on this. I taught a master class on negotiation. And what I told them is exactly what I'm going to say now. The negotiation
Okay.
is about understanding where each and everybody is coming from. Whoever is having a conversation on the table, understand them and get their plight. So let's take, for example, if myself and Stanley get into a conversation and I need a 3D rendition for a particular
Mhm.
property. Now, Stanley has his model, how he does his pricing, the effort that he puts into, and my demands as well. Now, I get all of those things Stanley does. I can come with my own perspective and say, hey, Stanley, I need you to do this rendition for me for 5,000 cities. And Stanley says, per your requirement, I can do this for you for nothing less than 10,000 cities. Now, for us to have a common understanding, is I can't just throw away all the hassle of Stanley. I can't write it off, right? I can't say, Stanley, I understand your job is just to do some 3D, fake, whatever, whatever there. But this is something that, you know, that demands much accuracy, much work, much effort, and I have to understand that. You understand? You get me, yeah?
Yeah.
So, with that understanding, I can then propose,
Yes.
why don't we come to a middle ground? We have to find a way to let Stanley understand me, and I can also understand Stanley. So I'm asking for 5,000. Sorry, Stanley is asking for 10,000. I'm proposing 5,000. But however, we can come to a common ground and we can all go both, like we can all have a win-win. Like say 9,000 cities or 8,000 cities, and everybody goes home happy. So negotiation is you, the individual, entering that conversation to find a win win solution for every party, not trying to be that heavy in that conversation. I don't know if you get me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So that's generally about negotiation. It's merely a conversation, really. The same way you and I are having this conversation is the same way negotiation happens. You walk into a room filled with so much people, and everybody's yelling on the top of their voices, asking for one thing or the other. But that's not going to work. But how would it work? It's by understanding where each and everybody is coming. I'm asking for this amount of money because I know how much effort I'm putting into get this thing done, right? This is how we close like negotiations worth millions of dollars, billions of dollars. I've sat literally in a table with 30 people. Imagine negotiating yourself out of a deal with a room of 30 people. How you, how you even going to, like, you see, the worst part of the negotiation is when you have to deal with the rural folks and those from the banks and those from the
And
those
dealing with a
people.
lot of people.
Yes, the bureaucracy is just so intense, right? So you step into that room with about 30 people, and your job as a real estate person is convincing all of those 30 people why they should accept your offer. Now that is
Yeah.
crazy. But if you go with the approach of understanding, yes, every single person in that room, if you go with the approach of understanding what they need, who they are, and what they're asking for, and then find an understanding win-win solution for everybody, trust me, you can close the deal. Most times, but other times you can just let it go.
Right, but thank you very much. Stanley, I don't know if you have any I know you also do negotiation at your end every day when
Uh,
developers come to you. So I don't know if you have any tips for us. How
well,
what
well,
strategy do you use?
well, currently the new strategy I'm developing is the increase the price so much that when they decide to bargain, you are still in a comfortable
Come back
range.
to your
The
normal.
reason the reason and I'm sure Bernard also does that. He knows that strategy, but he won't
Of
say
course, of course I do.
it. But you see, here's the thing. Here's the narrative I am pushing for that negotiation bit. I understand that well, I understand that when you go to the market, you see the price that is there, and then you decide to negotiate. That is when you are in the market with people that you can actually speak to. But now in the situation where like you do not have anybody to speak to, there won't be a negotiation. The price is the price. If it's $100, it's $100. You just pay and you go. Why do we have to do that negotiation? Is what I don't understand. But of course, it's business as well. For me, the negotiating part is something I would like to do really quick and really early in the conversation. Like, hi Stanley, I want to do this. Okay, we can achieve this for you. Is this what you are looking for? Yes. Okay, when do we get to start, or when do you want it to start? This is when I want it to start. All right, this is what it's going to cost. This is what we are looking at. If you want to do this option, this is this option, that is that option, and then we discuss it as early as possible. So for the negotiations, I like to discuss as early as possible, because moving forward after that, you've already started the work. There's no other point of negotiation. That's the time to do it. Once it's early, once the project is early, you do that negotiation then. And then, like Benai was saying, you should be would I use the word compassionate? I don't know if I should use the word compassionate, but
Yes,
empathy.
yes, yes,
Yes,
exactly. Practice
have
empathy.
yes,
Yeah.
practice
For
empathy.
me, I think it's nice you mentioned, when you have a one-on-one situation. So it's the thing with Ghanaians. So that's one of the things I talked about as a real estate consultant.
Yeah,
Every Ghanaian gets into a conversation and wants to negotiate. There are things we don't even need to negotiate on. Like there's what we call standard practice or standard charges. This thing costs $100 and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. But you can't also say this is like, but you see them, can't you take $80? Can't you take 70? But this is a standard pricing. So now
you see,
you're trying to convince these people to let them trying to tell them is a standard price, is a negotiation. I mean, you're not budging on the offer, like you're not reducing, but you're literally telling them, sir, this is why I'm taking $100. That's essentially
exactly.
it. Yeah, so it's
So for the negotiation bit, it's very tricky.
yes, yes, yes,
If
it
you
is.
decide to
It's
lowball
very
yourself, you would end up crying, and you won't be nobody will be there to see you cry. You just cry. So it's just good I stay that in here now. When you negotiate, make sure you are on a very cool level. Everywhere is flat. If
mm-hmm.
not, if you go below, if you are negotiating with the investors, the moment they release that agreement with you or that money with you, like that's the end. You can't go and tell
Yes,
them I made a mistake in the calculation and
yes,
No, we
exactly,
don't care.
exactly.
We don't care. Once we make the payment, that's it.
that's it. And
Once we make the
for the
payment, that's it.
visualization bit, if I tell you it's $1,000 and you say okay, agreed, even if it's a text and you said okay, agreed, we may have not signed the agreement too, but that's the end. If later I realize, oh, it will cost an extra 100, I can't come and tell you, the real estate developer, that it will cost an extra. No, nobody cares. You agreed. You set the price.
Once,
So never go below the belt for yourself. Just never do it.
never go below the belt first. So and to add up to what Bernard said about the pricing, I think that Ghanaians mostly like negotiating. I think it's our culture here in Ghana because even when you go to the market, you go and they'll tell you, oh, this thing is let's say 20 cities, but then last is 15 cities. Why is there last? Why don't you tell me the actual price? But you told me it's 20 cities and then last is 15
Do you
cities.
negotiate or not?
Why would I even pay the 20 cities in
Do
the
you
first place?
negotiate?
Why would I even pay the 20 cities in the first place when there is last 15 cities? Okay. So, so
I mean,
back to you,
extra money on the
Stanley.
table is not bad.
Yeah.
So
But that
there is a
that extra
strategy.
money won't be
There is
from
a
the buyer.
strategy I always use. Is a strategy I always use for with buying something or negotiating something. Start with 30% of the initial price. So whatever anybody tells you, start with thirty
You
percent of
see?
it. So if someone tells you it's $100, you start with $30, right? But I mean, yes, it makes sense
Yeah.
for market goods or market stuff. But in real estate, this is like what you're conversing. So we don't see our we'll call it convertibles. We don't see those things it's not like items. You're considering the value, right? That's what you price. That's what you look at. So you go into that conversation and you look, imagine what value are you going to get out of this purchase, out of this transaction.
Mhm.
What value am I going to receive? Now, from that value, by the time you qualify what that value is, that's how you begin your conversation. There are times when I've gone into negotiations and I tell this person this property is worth $150,000 and this is why it's this. Do you know where they start from in their negotiation? Now, when they can say, I want to pay $145,000. That's good.
Ah,
Like that's a good way of negotiating, right? But there are
yeah,
some insane people who come into that conversation and begin by pricing half the price. Now I've mentioned 150. Someone is coming to offer me $80,000. I mean, come on. I'm selling you a two-bedroom apartment, and the average price of that two-bedroom apartment in airport is about $150,000. You get the idea. Like the average price
yeah,
for the value of a two-bedroom around around that particular location is about 140 to $150,000. Now, a
yeah.
sensible or a good person or any savvy investor, home buyer, or negotiator should start from like anything close to what the market is asking for. So why start why start from $80,000,
Well,
hoping that I'm going
that's
to
the
budge on my offer and accept maybe. So that's the mindset. That's the mindset, which is not helping at all.
that's the thing. That's really
So
the
thank
thing.
you.
It's usually the either the half the price or the one third. And usually when I pick up that sense of this is where you are going, I'll stop you. I'll tell you, hey, please, please, let's all be happy with ourselves. So yeah, it's just like the man said.
Interesting. Sure. Thank you very much, Bernard. Thank you very much, Stanley. Stanley, back to you. I want to find out. I mean, we know there are other people who and they go on this today, and they might be looking forward to learn one or two things. So I want to find out what are the tools and techniques do you use to create high quality exterior or interior visualization, and how do they enhance the presentation of your real estate the real estate properties?
So for the tools,
So
there
maybe
are a
someone
lot.
out there wants to learn the 3D. Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of tools. You speak of SketchUp, speak of V-Ray, speak of Corona, speak of Unreal Engine. There are lots, right? But the tools is not really that important. It's very important, right? It's important, but it's not that important. You can have the tools, but if the technique or the way you are going about it is not good, then it will not help you. It took a couple of years to actually define the technique that we use here, but I'm going to share it. So, in the first place, when we pick up the projects, sometimes we pick references, we look for references to use. Now, these references are very crucial because if the references are right, then you'll be able to take from the references and do in yours. Example, if you have a reference with very good lighting, you can easily copy the lighting and use it in yours. The best way to steal is just by copying and adapting or making your own. Then it becomes unique. Now, when you finish taking your reference, then you come up with your model and you make sure that you share this model updates with the client who is the real estate developer. Now, with that model updates, then they'll give you feedback. Okay, this is exactly how it is. This has to change. Then you make those changes. Then you give that feedback. That series of back and forth with the developer is very important because in that way you carry the person along. You carry the developer along. They appreciate your process and they appreciate the project a lot more. Now, in the process of that iteration, there may be changes that will come out of inspiration striking, or they've seen something new that they want to add. When you add that, generally, you make the image come out better. Now, there are several tests that you should do, which are light tests. After giving the model update, you do your light tests. Your light tests will now transcend into your material tests. So then you see, how does this material look and how is it interacting with this other material? Now, if you do all of those tests, by the time you see the results, it would come out a lot better. And one thing that has also helped us is every single image that we create, if we go back to it or we move forward like a week or two or 1 month later, and you ask us to recreate that image, it will always be better because we are constantly learning new ways to create that image or make it better. And so for the techniques, for the tools, sorry, for the tools, you can have the tools, but your technique and your way of producing the image should be unique to you, and it's something you should develop and keep changing every single time. So I think I've mentioned a couple of the tools. If you also wish to not use the market tools, there are words or phrases like market standards. You can decide to use other softwares. That is fine. At the end of the day, what matters is your process of executing the project, not the tool. So if you execute well enough and your techniques are well refined and your process is well refined, at the end of the day, the clients will be happier. With this process that I've shared, no client has ended a project with us and been like, I didn't enjoy the project, or I didn't look forward to the project, or giving a bad review. It cannot happen. So that is the simple technique that we use in S Visual Render.
I see. Thank you very much, Stanley. But there are some few questions that came up. I'll come back to you and ask you because I also want to know how you mentioned how you transition into the 3D visualization now that you are doing. That's what you are focused on now. As I go to Bernard, I would like you to also like take through how you were able to transition and what are some of the challenges that you came about. And before we go to that, I'll go to Benaya to find out, Benaya, what are the common challenges you face in the real estate industry and how do you overcome them?
Let me know if you can.
Benaya, I hope you got my question.
I don't think he had it.
Hello, Benaya. Okay. Whilst Benaya figure out, Stanley, can you tell us how you went about it? Maybe someone out here want to also learn the 3D. Do you think it's possible for
Yeah,
someone?
one of
Okay,
the
I don't have.
challenges I face is example is this challenge.
What challenge is that?
Okay. Benaya, I think we lost you. Hello, Benaya. Okay. Let's go back to Stanley.
I think
Hi,
he's back.
Stanley. Yes.
Hi.
So yeah. Okay. So I was asking so I do not have a background in architectural design. Is it possible to learn the 3D and then still collaborate with um, um,
Developers.
developers to do projects for them as well? And also,
Yes.
how was the transition like for you, and how did you go about it? You mentioned you didn't learn it in your 5 years in Central University. You learned it on your own. So how did you go about it? Maybe I want to change my skill, and then initially I'm um, an agent in the real estate industry. I now want to focus on developing some 3Ds for developers. How do I go about it?
So for that one, it's actually quite easy, but I usually ask people if they have 2 years of their life to sacrifice. The reason I say 2 years is because over like the times I've seen people, it takes about 2 years to get okay, to get to that okay point. So usually I just ask upfront, okay, you want to learn this thing. It's easy to learn. You just need time and a lot of sacrifice. So the question being some of the challenges that I have faced. Well, the challenge of resources, where to get the things to learn, the right place to go, right? That was one of the problems I faced. But the easiest way to overcome that challenge, as I sit here now, is look for somebody who is already doing it and just learn from them. Tell them you want to learn. Tell them you want to work for them or with them. The moment you do that and the person is open to that or the company is open to that, you get to skip a lot of the problems you face generally. A lot of things like resources, you will not lack resources because the company already has the resources. And so they are just going to plug you into their resource and then teach and train you. Now, that aside, you also have to look for online courses because everything that I learned, most like 80% of it was online. I need to do this. Okay, how to do this? University of YouTube is what we call it. University of YouTube. You go on there. There are people who share free knowledge. There are people who share paid knowledge. There are people who share free knowledge. There are people who share paid knowledge. Spend money and get the knowledge. Is everything is not free. Spend money. Go look for the course, and then spend money and time and learn it. Now, other things that you will face, well, for me, when I started, one of the statements that I actually faced was because I did architecture in school, people thought, okay, he's going to be an architect, not a visualizer. Then I was told, architecture school is not about visualization. You see, architecture is not about 3D. So then that was a challenge at that time. It was just bad words being thrown at you. So the challenge anybody would face if they decide to learn now is bad words being thrown at them. So they should be ready for it. Things like it's not good, it's not good yet. Go back, do it again. You will get it. At a point, somebody told me, this thing you are doing, it's not going. Just stop it. Either you stop it or you find a way to do it better. Those are bad words. If I didn't take it well at that time, nah, I'll just stop. But then you should learn to take up those reviews or critics easily because those are the challenges constant. You will face them when you decide to go the 3D way. If you have 2 years of your life to spend, if you have the willpower to sit and train yourself under somebody, do that. It will save you more time, more energy. You waste less resources punching the air. You won't be doing any of those things. So that those are some of the challenges that I faced, and that is how you can overcome them in this current time. University of YouTube is your best friend. That's like the biggest school in the world, and the biggest and the best, because there's a whole lot to learn online. So yeah.
Talk of University of YouTube. Does that mean with 3D visualization, you don't really need any certification or certificate to be able to get gigs to get done?
No, no. See, okay, I'll share something I usually tell people. Nobody really cares about the certification. Nobody cares. Some people do, but the people who want results, can you do it? Yes. Okay, please come. Let me have your certification. They don't ask. And for you to get to that point of can you do it, spend that time. Once you get good enough, nobody cares. Nobody is asking you, send me your CV for you to do the 3D. The only thing they will ask you is, let me see your portfolio. Who have you worked with? What have you done? The moment you can get that through the door, you are gone. It's the truth is that it's really in Africa that we are looking for, let me see your certification, let me see your this. But even in Africa, very few times do you see people ask, let me see your certification. It doesn't mean that there are no certifications for 3D visualizers. There are. Globally, there are. Now, if you want to compete in the global markets, there are a couple of people you can buy courses from. And if you are able to follow through with their course, they give you a certification. Now, with that certification, because of who the people are, because they've had experience over 25 years and they've been teaching, anybody who sees a certification from them knows that you have done the lessons, you have learned. And even those people who learn use about 2 years to learn. So at the end of the day, you still need that time to learn. So yeah, you don't really need certification for the 3D visualization side.
All right, thank you very much. This is the last question. Then I'll move to Benaya. So you mentioned can you do the work? What's your portfolio? So how did you get your first job in the 3D for you to start
My first
creating your
job,
portfolio?
my first job was for my brother. It was for my brother Michael. They
That's
had
much
a
easier.
kitchen he
That's
wanted
much
to.
easier.
That's much easier, but that was not my first paid work. That was the first free work for the portfolio. So,
Yeah.
so funny thing is, I used that free work to get the paid one. So it was a kitchen. It was a white kitchen. I was so happy doing it. I finished it. I did it. While I was doing it, I then opened my Instagram page and then I was sharing like what I was doing. So when I finished, I shared it. Then there was a TA in my school then who saw what I did and was like, ah, you are the guy who has been doing plenty work. You are running around here and there. I'm like, yeah, it's me, it's me, it's me. I can do the work. Then they gave me the first. That was my first ever paid work. So really, it's about for me. It has been like show the work. That's the end. Create that portfolio. Like make it and show people. I've done this. That's what people care about. I have done this. This is what I've done. So now you okay, show me your own. I can also do it for you. But if you sit there and think that I have a certification, so that's we can all count many times that people have certifications, but they cannot do it. They have the knowledge, but applying is different from knowing. Two different things altogether. So yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Let's move to Benaya. Benaya, if you can hear me loud and clear, I think the last question was about the challenges that you face in the real
Yes,
estate
yes,
in.
yes. I heard that part, and I was trying to say that one of the challenges I usually have is challenges like this with internet. Yeah? But generally, it's really intense to do the job. I mean, I used to say that our job is one of the hardest job on planet Earth. It's really, really difficult. It's so hard. And one of the reasons that it's so hard is because of the competition that we face every single day. We live in a period where every single person is a real estate professional. Like even me can get up one morning and say he's a real estate agent, right? He can just take my business and sell real estate and make all the commission, right? So that's one of the most fears we real estate agents face sometimes. But one of the things we do to stay confident is our preparation. Okay, we have a value that that other real estate consultants or practitioners cannot give. Can you hear me?
And we can hear you loud
Okay,
and clear.
okay. So it's that service is with so for us we like to do it every single Yeah, I know you lost me there. So I was trying to say that every single customer counts. Everybody counts. The moment you can figure out how you can better and properly serve every customer, that's how you can, make more money and stay ahead of the curve. So it's just pretty challenging. I mean, this year, for example, has we've seen a lot of discrepancies and fluctuations. I don't know if we can liken it to the election coming up on the 7th, but I think it's the case because we've seen a little bit of slow in how people purchase properties and how people rent properties. It looks as if everyone is just waiting, enduring to see what happens after December. So I don't know if Stanley faces the same thing. I don't know if it's business as usual or there's a common decline of your clientele.
Well, that decline is usually in the middle of the year. Used to be in the middle of the year, but this year I didn't see that much of a decline. But the middle of the year
Yeah,
usually is a very good spot. It's like gray zone. Everybody's money has finished. So so yeah.
We lost. I, I think we lost Benai again. Uh, okay. Okay. Since he's not back. All right, Stanley. Let me. I want to find out. You mentioned of the modeling. So when it comes to, let's say, I'm an agent and I own a space where I want to renovate the kitchen or something. Is it possible to come to you for you to create a 3D on
Yes.
how to go about it? What would be my requirement if maybe I
Yes.
want to renovate
So
my space?
for that one, it's that one there is much more easier. So usually if it's an already existing property, we just come and pick up the measurements of the space and then request for the interior design bits of it. So you have an interior designer on board who would create the mood board for you, tell you what kind of finishes that they want, and then we take up that information and translate it to 3D. So that's for those who already have an existing property. That's how we go about it.
Okay. So do you handle the interior design aspect as well,
No, no,
or
we'd
just the
rather
coding
prefer
one?
not to handle that. It's just the visualization side that we handle. We we'd rather
Okay.
prefer not to handle interior design side because that side is not as easy as people think it is.
The reason why I'm asking because from how you put it, it looks more simpler. So I wanted to know more.
Don't play. Don't play. You see, people out here, this is some of the things that always makes me laugh. The person you see there as an interior designer has
Yeah.
more stress sometimes
yes,
than
yes,
the
yes,
architect himself
yeah,
because they are considering everything in the space and outside. Now they will
yeah,
now come and consider the mood and the setting and the feeling and the
yeah,
texture of the fabric and the wall and see if it will go with what you want to communicate to your client. Is you see,
yeah,
it's not picking curtain fabric and sofa a finish that is interior. That's not interior design. it's not it's not an easy ground. So we only do visualization. Bring your design and we'll visualize it for you.
I like it for you. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Bernard, we lost you at a point, but then you in your submission previously you mentioned building and maintaining strong relationship with clients. At
yeah,
this point, I want to find out how you build and maintain strong relationship with clients. In Ghana, most of the time when you build relationship in terms of business, there at a point
yeah,
becomes at a point the familiarity that sets
Yeah,
in.
the
So
burn
I
break.
want to find
Yeah.
out how do you build strong relationship and with your client and maintain it as well. And also, can you share a success story where you help a client close a significant real estate deal?
Wow. I mean, in terms of significance, I like to use that every single transaction that I have done in real estate is significant. I mean, there's no really special, some special magic or trick I use to close, one transaction from another. One of the ways we use in maintaining strong client relationship is by doing the service, doing the work of a server, right? If you go to a restaurant or you go to uh, 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 you know a KFC or in any of those eateries, right? You see the way a waiter walks up to you to help you, to serve you, right? That's the job that we do. So we do everything basically from helping you sell a house, helping you buy a house, helping you rent a house, to helping you change your sorry, to helping you change your son's diaper. Like I've done it sometimes, Like one time I had a client who had a baby, and I was asked to hold the baby, and the baby peed on me. The baby literally peed on me, you know. And there are times you also have to perform the job of a maid girl or a houseboy. I've gone to some of my clients' homes and I've helped them wash their plates, clean the house, the room. So these are basically what we do, and it's a way to just show them this is not business as usual. Okay, if you take it out of the business context and show your clients that you actually care, that's how to keep and build a relationship. It's not just about the money. It's not just about getting a profit or earning a reward. It's about showing and treating them as any other person, as an individual. Do you follow?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you see them as those type of people,
So
that's how
um,
you can that's how you can build that relationship. And often, most times, those relationships are very strong. That's how you see people always coming back to you and coming back to you because they trust you and you treat them as a human being and not just a paycheck.
okay, all right. Thank you very much, Bernard.
And
Bernard.
yeah, sorry.
Um,
One last, answering your question about any
yeah.
significant transaction. Well, there is this one which we did. It's with I like to talk about it. Is with the co-founder and I think one of the co-founders of Cecil Global. What's his name again? Kweku Essien. So I
Uh,
like to talk about it,
Bernard,
and
if you
I
can
can
hear
use that.
me, your line is breaking a bit.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so I'm saying that one of the most significant uh, the major transactions that I've done is with Kweku Essien. Now, Kweku Essien is one of the founders or co-founders of Cecil Global. We have been, in fact, we've never met, but we have built a relationship up to a point that 2 years ago, in December alone, Kweku sent me about 8 leads that converted into thousands of dollars of commission. Eight leads. It means 8 people coming to work with me, and that eventually converted to thousands of dollars of commission. Last year,
Yeah,
he did
cashing
the
in.
same thing. Last year, he did the same thing for about 5 to 6 people. He referred 5 to 6 people to work with me last December, and that also amounted to thousands of dollars as well. And the surprising thing is that building a relationship goes on from one person to another. Now, I have built relationship and good relationships with these people he has referred me with, and these people in turn refer me to their friends and family. That's one significant role. Building good relationship can help your business.
All right. Thank you very much, Bernard. Uh, Stanley.
Yeah,
Hello, hello, Stanley.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I've asked this one. I wanted some of your how yeah. Can you share an example of how your visualization have influenced a client's decision to invest in a particular real estate project?
Well,
How you
I've
went about
had.
it as well.
Oh, okay. So we've worked on a project in Osu, and the developer specifically requested for virtual reality tours. Now, they requested for this because they wanted to stand out in the industry. And so, by doing so for them, once we created the tour for them and we gave them the access, the first presentation that they had with their potential buyer, the person was like, "Wow, where did you guys do this? Where was this done? This is so lovely that they are able to see every single corner of the home, every single place in the apartment." And immediately after that conversation with the developer, they signed on and closed the deal instantly without having like other conversations. There was no friction. There was no, I don't know how it will look like. I'm worried about. No, that didn't happen. So that's how like the visualization that we do help the clients or the real estate developers to sell their projects, because then it leaves that room of error, or that room of, it removes that room of thought and worry that it will not come out well, because you are already seeing how it will come out, and it is exactly to scale, exactly to how they will do it. So yeah, that is how it has been beneficial to the people that we work with. What was the second question? And how we went about it?
Yes. I think
Okay,
you
for how we go about it, yes, is I've already shared that. But for
yeah.
there are many ways you can go about it. There are many kind of deliverables that will serve, but you should have that discussion with the client and know what their vision is, what exactly they want to sell, and how easy they want to sell that property. That would inform what kind of assets you create for them. Also, their budget would inform that. So, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And soon we'll be come to an end to this panel. But then um Benaya, I want to find out what advice will you give to someone who wants to join the real estate sector in Ghana, and how should he or she go about it?
Well, joining this sector requires grace. You need to have a lot of perseverance, um, a lot of discipline, and you have to be a master at research. This is obviously not the usual, sector or the usual occupation. Anyone can just get up one morning and say, "Hey, I want to be a real estate agent," right? Everybody wants to be a doctor, everybody wants to be a lawyer, an architect, a 3D visualization expert, but nobody gets up one morning and say, "I want to be a real estate agent." Okay, so so it's such a very daunting task and daunting occupation, but it is quite rewarding. So, I like to tell people, if you want to do this, you need to have a lot of grit. You need to have a lot of patience. You need to have a lot of perseverance, and you need to have a lot of, empathy in all of this, because with empathy you can have a balanced view of both how you see yourself and how you see your client. that's that's one of the things I like to tell people. And then I like to encourage for those people as well who are in this space, because sometimes it can feel as if you're not really doing a lot, or you're not making that transaction, or you're not hitting the quota like you're supposed to do. In those moments, you just have to keep on keeping on generally, uh, and just take good care of yourself. I mean, there are times when you experience burnout and depression, and look, one of the easiest ways of having PTSD and depression is becoming a real estate agent. If you don't like your life, like if you want to punish your son, or if you want to punish your daughter, and you want to punish them with a career, give them, tell them to go do sales, or go become a real estate agent, or go tell them to become a real estate salesperson, right? It's like a punishment. But guess what? As it comes with a punishment, it also comes with a reward. I've seen people get so rich quickly overnight through real estate. I've seen people make so much money from being a real estate agent and still making so much money. So just as it comes with its consequences, it has its rewards as well. You just have to know when to deal with the two. The more successes you have, don't stop there, don't relax, keep persevering, keep working hard. And even in those times you don't have those successes like you plan to, like you envision to, or you worked your butt off to just get those things going on, just keep going on, keep learning, keep asking questions. So for me, what I do all the time is to try to learn as much as I can of what's happening in the market. And I try to connect with people, like connecting with Stanley, connecting with yourself, connecting with people I know will bring me immense gain to my business or profit to my business. That's how generally you do business. That at a time comes when, as a real estate agent, you don't have to spend money to get people calling you. You have to start depending on the people you have as already close clients, the people you have around you, all the relationships you've built so far over the years. You need to start seeing them as money. It's your ability to convince these people to either work with you or tell other people to work with you, and that's how you can make more money. So generally, it's becoming a real estate consultant in Ghana, where you don't have most things regulated, is very daunting. But if you have the mindset that you want to be a change factor, like you want to be someone coming in with a change effect, you want to bring in a service that actually helps people perform these kinds of transactions, you can make a whole lot of money doing that. So that's my word of advice and my word of encouragement as well.
Okay. I don't know if but I thought he was saying his last word, but he just ended. Okay. All right. Stanley,
Yeah.
I think this is also the last question to you. Those on the call, please, if you have any question, you can drop in the comment section. So the team will pick it up, then we act on your behalf. So while they do that, Stanley, what advice will you give to aspiring now who want to enter into the field of architectural visualization, contribute to the real estate sector?
If they want to venture into that field, they should first off be ready to sacrifice 2 years of their life. The 2 years is very important. And then they should if they don't envision themselves sacrificing that 2 years, they shouldn't bother. But if they want to bother, with that 2 years, you can look for someone or look for a company that is willing to train you and then sign up with them and then have them train you. In the process of training you, they may also decide to do what, hire you or pick you to be a part of their team and put you on their contract payments. And then they should pay attention to details. Like the smallest detail can separate a good 3D from the bad 3D. The smallest thing, like a pen size. Imagine you did a 3D and the pen size is not the actual size and is double the size. In 3D, it will look off, and whoever sees that image will start guessing that, oh, this is 3D. But in real estate development or real estate visualization, your aim is to be as close to reality as possible. The closer, the better, because that is what the person feels is real. So those are the two advice that I would give to anybody who wants to jump into this field. Jump into it knowing that I'm here to sacrifice 2 years of my life. Jump into it with somebody who is already in that industry, and you can see that that person is learning, or that company is moving forward or progressing, and they are willing to teach you, because some companies are not willing to teach. They are not willing to train. They just want to use the skill that you already have. So that is there. And then also be on University of YouTube a lot. Learn. Just keep learning, keep making yourself better. And before you know it, you'll be very good.
Well, you know, it will be very good. Thank you very much, Stanley. And I think that there are some few questions, but because of time, I'll just take the two. I don't know who this one goes to, but I say, what are some of the current trends in the real estate market that investors should be aware of? I think this will go to Benaya. Benaya?
Yeah, I'm here. The question again?
Yeah.
What are
So it says, what are some of the current trends in the real estate market that investors should be aware of?
trends? So trends. Well, well, if you're an investor willing to invest in real estate or purchase, the first thing is, I know we used to hear things like location, 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 location. Yes, it is true, location. So we are now seeing that the location that we used to think are renting at $12, we're not seeing that those locations are no longer the case. So, for example, what I'm going to say, if you are initially, if you want to buy a property or an apartment in Cantonment, right? You can buy that apartment. You can have, but you can't, okay, for the amount that you thought you would always rent it out for. So let's say, for example, you were promised to rent it out, promised to rent out a one-bed apartment. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so let's say you were promised that you were going to rent a one-bed apartment for $2,000. Okay, it's no longer the case. Now the average one bed in Cantonment is anywhere between $1,300 to $1,500 a month. Now you can see it's dropping, right? But generally, if you have a good strategy, I think I did a video about this some time ago. I said in that video that if you want to make as much money as you are promised in your ROI or by your developer, if you want to make that much money, you need to have like a very, very effective sales strategy, and you need to work with as many
Oh, we lost. We lost. Uh, um.
I don't know if you got that last
Okay.
part.
Um. Yeah. We didn't. I didn't hear the last words by.
I'm saying that if you want to make as much money as you are being promised by your developer, I mean that's ROI, like 14.
Okay. connect again.
That's 10 to 14 narrow out the point. If you want to make that much, you need to have like a crazy.
Hey, we lost. And now we lost you again. We are running out of time, so let me move to Stanley. Stanley, your last words. What is your final key takeaway that you can share with us, with the audience as well?
Well,
What's the
I
final
would
key
say
takeaway that you want to share with us,
I would say that
Stanley?
if you are looking forward to if you as a real estate developer are looking forward to develop a project, make sure that you have your marketing assets right. Make sure that you have the best in the market and add a touch of the new thing. So with that touch of the new thing, the moment you put content out for it or you put out information that this is what we have available, a lot of people would rush you, literally. A lot of people would rush you. And we are always looking for new things, and human beings are always looking for new things. So, as a real estate developer or a real estate agent, look out for that new thing because that new thing is what will stand out in the market. And the moment there's something that's standing out in the market, it will pull a lot of people to it. And once it's doing that, that is more business for you at the end of the day. If you're also looking to be a 3D visualizer, just be ready to learn. Stick to it and learn. If you learn, you'll be good. You learn, you practice, you'll be good. At the end of the day, you just be good. That's how it happens. So that is what I can share. I lost you there. I can't hear you. You're muted. Yeah, you're actually muted.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I can hear you
So
now.
thank you very much, Stanley.
You're welcome.
Okay. So thank you very much, and I've learned a lot from you today. Where you also mentioned that if anyone wants to learn about the 3D visualization of the architectural side, he or she must spend at least be ready to spend at least 2 years in the process, and also
Yeah,
how how it has impact in the real estate industry. Okay, so
yeah.
Bernard, your final key takeaways that you want to share with us.
Um, hmm, don't be a real estate agent if you want to make money only.
Bernard, I
Yeah,
can hardly
so
hear you.
people come into the people come into the industry and we see a lot of nice pictures and buildings and dressing nicely with nice cars. I mean, trust me, it's not usually the case. It's a very, very, um, very stressful work. But if you are willing to, like what Stanley said, sacrifice. I mean, if you're willing to give in that sacrifice, giving your all in all to make it work, yeah, there are wonderful rewards that wait you. So that's just going to be my admonishment. If you want to do this, do it. Just do it outright. Like do it with all your heart. I like a principle from the Bible, Colossians. It said, "Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do it with all your heart, and do it with all your mind." So if you have this intention to venture into this space, yes, it's a very rewarding space, but at the same time, you need to be aware of the consequences. But if you're willing to put in your all, if you're willing to put in your best, you can really come out on top. So yeah, that would be one of my key takeaways.
All right, thank you very much. And how is there a way maybe someone wants to follow up with some questions later on? Which platform can the person reach out to you? And then what services
So
if I
generally,
need I can come.
I have my names in all platforms exactly as it is. Benaya Uche Rollins. I have it on all platforms on YouTube. So we're also releasing videos such as topics like this on YouTube, and I'm the same name on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook with the same name generally, just the same name.
I see. For me, I am on
And now, of
well,
course,
not
I
all
will accommodate
platforms.
any question.
So I'm not on all platforms with the same name like Bana, but on Instagram as is Visual Render. You can reach out to me over there. I'm mostly active on Instagram. And then you can also reach out to my LinkedIn as Stanley Hedrika, my full name over there. And you can also reach out to me there. I'm available. Yeah, available to work and also available for questions. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'd be more than kind to help you.
All right, and what services if I need I can come to you apart from you going to teach me the 3D?
We offer full architectural visualization, so that includes the exterior and the interior side for that's real estate developers and interior designers. So we would create any form of marketing assets that you need to sell your project. Our main goal is just to make your presentation easier, whether presentation to investors, presentation to clients. We are the go-to. So just find us and just contact us. That's all.
All right, thank you very much. And we really appreciate for we really appreciate you for joining us today, and we hope we'll reconnect in the future. Thank you very much
Yeah,
once again.
you're most welcome, sir.
Hi,
Bye.
thank you
Bye.
so much.
Yeah,
Thank you,
At this
thank you.
moment,
thank you.
Thank you to our speakers. Thank you
yeah.
to our
At this
moderator,
moment,
Nii.
I'll hand it over to Daniel. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much
Thank
for your
you.
time.
All right,
Considering.
Daniel. Clear from here.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So you've heard from the panel, right? You agree with me, it was an amazing discussion throughout, and we are grateful to the speakers that came on today. I hope you did enjoy the conversation, and like they shared at the end, if you have any questions or you have need for their services, you could reach out to them via LinkedIn or via their business pages as well. And you can make use of that. If you have questions, you could, I think LinkedIn will be a good place to ask questions as well, and also find out more about their services. But it's been a pleasure having them on this session today. We look forward to the next session in August as well. And thank you to all our speakers and for those of you that joined in today, and we'll connect on the next session as well. Thank you all so much, and do enjoy the rest of your day. It's been the Real Estate Investment Workshop, the July edition, and we just wrapped up the panel discussion.